sent you guys a progress report literally maybe 2 hours ago. Yesterday got away from me a little bit. A whole bunch of weird, interesting, weird stuff happened yesterday. I did send a quick progress report out. I know a few of you have sent me emails that I haven't gotten to yet from over the weekend, and I apologize. I will get back to you on those. We'll have everything figured out. I know a bunch of Blackboard stuff didn't work, compatibility stuff didn't work. We'll fix all that. Please, rest assured we will fix all of that, if that applies to you guys. So the progress report that you just got might not be the best version. I'll send another one out as soon as I fix all the problems. I wanted to send out one that would work for 95% of people, which is probably most of you, 19 out of 20 on average. So anyway, that's that. As far as the exams go, what I like to have done for the class after I grade an exam is a synopsis of the exam and what happened. I didn't have time to do that, unfortunately, because the technology wasn't working from my house, connected login remotely on Saturday, and like I said yesterday, evaporated outside of my classes and picking up my little guy. I can tell you this, you guys completely destroyed the exam in the best possible way. I was totally stoked. I mean, totally a pleasure to grade them. I was completely just blown away by it. So you did fantastic. Hopefully you're able to crack open and look at the comments I made on them. Hopefully you were able to. Some of you did type submission entries. There's a problem in Blackboard I can't figure out yet. I can't put comments on those. I don't know why. I'm waiting to hear from Christine, who runs Blackboard. So I try to put comments. If you do a Word document or a PDF submission, I can actually put a comment on the paper and you can read that comment. And that's where I put like the -2 points or -3 points. But if you did a type submission, I can't see it. So I couldn't do that. So I just put comments in a block off to the side in your comments box. So hopefully that didn't, it only applied to about 3 or 4 people, maybe one in this class. What else? There was no question. I always like to look for questions that flatten most of the class. There were none of them. There wasn't one question that like 90% of you got wrong. The only ones that were gotten a little bit wrong, and I'm going to think maybe 1 in 4 people got these wrong, were the interpretation of what a standard deviation was. And hopefully, going back and looking at that, you'll know how to fix that, which I want to talk about. I do want to talk about that briefly right now. And the other one was my victories problem. The only thing that and very few people were getting this wrong, was when I run 13 victories, I don't take 13 rests. That was something people were missing. And that's why I love this question as a math question. Because you should have seen the entire Total Fit class was figuring this out together. And I'm watching 30 people, 40 people, 50 people do this problem like, what is it, an exam? This is a great exam question. Look at this whole class. It's an HHP class doing math. Right. I'm like, if that isn't motivation to put it on a math exam, I don't know what is. So anyway, the reason I bring both those up, those are the only ones that, oh, you know one that I would say got 1 in 10 people was 95% of the time I can expect this many eggs. I said 95% I can expect between blah and blah eggs. The answer wasn't 2 and 4. That was a pretty common wrong answer. So I'm not going to tell you the right answer. Not because I'm a bastard. Well, I'm partially a bastard. But here's why I'm not going to tell you the right answer. If you go to the schedule page, the rainy day coupons, you know about these, kind of. For example, you know that there's a project coupon, a rainy day project coupon, you know that. What does that do?
You submit it late.
Right, if you forget, if you walk into a class the day a project is due and you're like, oh, poop, I didn't do it. You can't turn it in late because the Blackboard link is gone.
Right.
But that buys you 24 hours. It gives you 24 extra hours to get it done, handwritten, or not handwritten, but physically printed, coupon stapled to it at my office within 24 hours, no penalty, no harm, no foul, out of 25 points, better than a 0. Fair enough? If you don't use that coupon, it's worth 5 points. Most of you still have that coupon applied. Don't forget there's a project due Thursday. There's been quite a bit of chatter on the Facebook page, makes me happy. Good, it's getting somewhere too. I watched the post, I'm like, holy shit, there's 25 posts in this one question. And by the end, I'm like, well, they got it, we're good. I was gonna chime in, I'm like, I don't have to, you guys did it already. I love that, by the way. Thank you, Andrea, again for that. That's not what I want to talk about though. I want to talk about this rainy day exam coupon. This allows you to get 5 points back on your exam if you satisfy check, 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 and check. Which essentially means you copy and paste the question you did wrong into a document. You then correct the question in the document. You write a sentence or two about what you did wrong the first time, and then you write a sentence or two about what you learned by doing it right the second time. And then there's a bunch of checks. You have to print this bad boy and staple it to all your work, and then there's no time limit on this one, except it has to be in before exam week.
Okay.
Most students, I like to have it, get them done sooner than later, otherwise you're going to forget that it's there. I don't want you to lose those points. So if you got a 98 on this exam, which quite a few of you did, get 2 points back. If you got a 95 on this exam, which quite a few of you did, get 5 points back. If you got an 86, get 5 points back. It's not worth more than 5 points, but it is worth those 5 points.
Right.
And there's another coupon for quizzes down here, but I'll talk about that later on. So this page represents a maximum of 20 possible points that you can add back into your, actually it's more than that technically speaking, but it's 20 extra points that you can add back into your grade by the end of the term. And I do want to emphasize this. The corrections must be correct. I had to add that line about 3 years ago because people were turning in wrong answers and demanding points. And I say, they're not right. They're like, it doesn't say it has to be right. So I had to add the line, it has to be right. Just, we live in America, litigious. It doesn't say it has to be right. Okay, well now it does. So just so you know, that exists. Now, for those of you that are still in the process of getting me information, I know some people are dealing with technological issues. Don't do this until we get that squared away, because I want to make sure I get all of your work in before you start correcting stuff. I don't want you correcting something that you just haven't gotten to me yet. And I know there's some issues with technology that we're dealing with still. I saw a hand. Please, Teresa.
Can we use all of those, or we choose one of those?
Oh God, no! All 3 are yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all 3 are yours. What are you looking at?
Well, because it also says up there, if we don't use the top one, we get 5.
Correct. This is worth 5 points. These are worth nothing unless you use them.
Okay.
Yeah, this is worth 5 points for not using, because if you think about it, this is not a pedagogical coupon. This is a, oh crap, I forgot to do something coupon. This isn't, oh crap, I forgot to do my exam. If you forgot to do your exam, I gotta get you off the class. You have to leave now. No, you all did the exam. This is to correct if you lost points. Now, some of you got hundreds on this exam. You can't use that coupon because you didn't lose any points. I'm sorry, but there's no value to this unless you use it. I guess that's my point, is
right.
I want you to get points back, and that's why this exists. Same as the quiz. What the quiz coupon allows you to do is to correct any quiz that you take, one quiz, and you got your lowest grade on, it gets it back to a 10.
Okay.
So suppose you did one quiz at some point and got a 2 out of 10 on it. That allows you to get it back up to a 10. Suppose you turned a quiz and completely tanked it and got a 0 on it. That gets it back to a 10. So the idea of these two is these two are not worth anything unless you use them. This is only worth something if you don't use it. Of course, if you don't do a project and don't use it, you're still negative 20 points, if that makes sense, right? Because the projects are 25 and that gets you 5. So you want to use the coupon to get the 25 back. Does that make sense? Different themes. But the reason I have you do all this writing, you're like, oh my God, it's not worth 5 points. That's totally fine. Don't use it if you don't want to. I want you to use it. Why do I make you do all the writing?
So you understand if we understand.
Because all I care about is whether or not you guys learn something. That's all I care about. Why don't I make it worth 5 points? So you actually do it.
Right.
Because I know you won't do anything unless I put point value on it, right?
Right.
That's why I put I don't grade homework, right? But I make you do mandatory. I make you do at least 10 quizzes. Why? Because you won't do them otherwise. So that's me being a bastard. But it's what I've learned over 20 plus years of doing this. I've got to put point values on things to make you do them. Cool? Teresa, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Weird, definitely weird. I totally get that. But at the same time, it's all about protecting your grade and making sure you learn hopefully at the same time.
Right.
Cool? Believable? Fair-ish. Getting there. Awesome. Any questions? See me at the break if any technological stuff in Blackboard is not working. I have a small handful of printed documents from other classes that didn't upload correctly. I sent you guys notes about technology in Blackboard. Hopefully, if it didn't work, we're going to have those goofy little things. It's Blackboard. It's a computer system. It's going to have little hitches here and there. My whole tune has changed about Blackboard in the past week. Whew. It's like a weight off my shoulders. It's nice. Cool? So, quiz. Hold off on this one until later in the term. I want to make sure you apply this to your lowest quiz. And if your lowest quiz is an 8, then hell, get the 2 points back. Unless you think it's not worth it, which it might not be worth it to you by then. Maybe you're sitting on a 99% in the class and 2 points won't do anything. Then just let it go. That's fine too. I'd rather you have it and not need it than the converse. So, you guys all right? Yeah. Please, Candace.
Why can't you use the rainy day exam coupon towards your final?
Well, because after you submit your final, you go away and never see you again.
Right.
Right? I need you to come bring me something after class is over. I used to have 2 exam coupons because I used to give 3 exams. Week 4, week 7, and week 11. But the week 11 one still didn't have any exam coupons. So I took away the second exam coupon, and then it looked lonely. I had 2, so I added the quiz one to make it green. Because then I felt better about it, because then I had 3 again. Something about that 3, I like having 3. So, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. Cool? So, some of my comments were intentionally vague on the exam, because I want you to go back and correct them. Talk to each other. Find somebody that didn't lose a point that you did and ask them, why didn't you lose a point? Put yours together and find, oh, I see, the damn chickens, or the damn rests. Your guys, the one question that you guys were the most nervous about was that number 2, finding the non-misleading statistics. You guys crushed that. Literally, I think one person in 80 got that wrong. Literally. Everybody in this class, I'm pretty sure, unless you're the one that's in here, I apologize if you are. 15 points, slam dunk. What you guys said on those graphs were unbelievable. So good. I was so proud. And I think you getting worked up about them as a class was part of the learning process. You were so worked up about it, you over-learned how to answer it.
Right.
And I was totally stoked. And the first question, the measure in the circles one, for the most part, absolutely perfect too. The only one that kind of threw people for a little bit were, oh, you made the claim, if you double the diameter, you quadruple the area. And I said, how dare you make that claim? Now, it's right. But explain to me why. No, not right now.
No, I'm not.
Not right now.
I think from working with other people and helping, part of it was that it wasn't specified whether to do it in millimeters or centimeters.
Doesn't matter, as long as you're consistent.
Well, I know, but then I think was people were going back and forth when they were doing it themselves.
Well,
People were finding
we learned not to do that anymore now.
So people were finding then 3-to-1s and 5-to-1s instead of what it was supposed to do, which was 4-to-1 ratios.
But the thing is, if I averaged all your guys' numbers, it averaged to 4-to-1. For every 3.5 to 1, I got a 4.5 to 1. For every 3 to 1, I got a 5 to 1. You guys targeted the right number, which was 4 to 1. I knew there were going to be inconsistencies. And I didn't dock points for inconsistencies as long as you run the math right. So I was totally fine with that, kids. I like what you're saying. Oh, God, yeah. Because I wasn't docking you. If you didn't get 4 to 1, you got full credit for whatever you did get.
Okay.
The question was, now, it may have driven you nuts if you got a ratio of like 60 to 1, and then you put the result that the area should be 4 times as big. Then you might be like, why did I get 60 and 4? My hope was that you go back and look and see why you shouldn't have gotten 60. But I wasn't concerned about that.
Okay.
I was concerned of this brash claim that if you double the diameter, you quadruple the area. Prove it! And some of you did a really, well, I'm not going to say anything else because it's part of that, but I got some really cool explanations as to why. So maybe find those people. Chit-chat with them. Okay?
Okay.
John, go! Oh, I saw your hand move. I'm like an amphibian. I see movement. Sorry. Cool? All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that. I will get an updated progress report once I get everybody's final work.